Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. On the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. If you like these videos, go to my website, sign up, it's free, or click down here in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright guys, daily chart, 16 million, 0.36% up, and 60% or 60 cents green on the day. So we did not close above the all-time highs, but we did make intraday highs at 169.30. We barely closed below the all-time high, which was at 168.10. I think it was 168.50 right in there. So we made a new intraday high, but still chopping around sideways. This is a bullish pattern above the MA, strong stance, and just chopping sideways. Earnings on this one, guys, is 8.10. I thought it was 8.8, but I believe it's 8.10. Look yourself. I'm not totally sure. I got two different numbers. So at this point, 810 is my number. So again, when it comes up, just realize if you're in this position, just make sure you know what's going on. Again, though, strong stance above the MAs. Let's see if we just chop into earnings. If the markets continue higher, I believe this one will go higher. If the markets are a little bit weak, this one could fade a little bit, but I believe the MA should hold it up unless some news comes out, something like that. But again, strong stance, bullish pattern, nothing wrong. Weekly chart, same thing. We had a topping tail here, did not close above it, so that's still intact there. So let's see next week if we get some follow through, maybe a close above 170 to 175 going into earnings, or do we just chop around on the day on the weekly chart and see if we set up in a bullish pattern as well. So we have the bullish pattern on the daily. Let's see if we get one on the weekly. Above the MA still on this one as well. A little bit stretched from price 127 to 170, so we're about 40 bucks out on this one. So keep an eye on that. A lot of times it will want to come back to here. So we talked about these stocks like the FANG, these three, all moving up. Tesla wasn't. Tesla's just kind of holding down there on some news for the last couple weeks, but these things are all moving up into earnings. Do they start to fade? Possibly, the day before, a couple days before. We'll see. It's just an observation. I've been looking at. A lot of them are just going up with the markets. Do we fade into them, or do we just remain up? Again, guys, 50-50 on earnings, so be careful and do not load the boat when you're going into earnings if you are playing them. Let's go into AMD. AMD daily chart. This one now, it's pretty much in between. We've been channeling in this upper trend line, lower trend line since the beginning of May. Great trading vehicle. Look at this, up, down, giving you at least 10% moves every time. Short out, long out, short out, long out. I mean, you could do this one at least 5 times. We didn't. We ended up shorting this one back in here, got a couple day pullback, and we were done with that trade. But this thing pops on earnings, we will looking for short areas on here. Good resistance, 1555, 1621, and then 17 bucks will be at natural resistance, and then 1778, and then 20 bucks if it really starts to rumble. Downside targets, you got the 20 MA, the 50 MA, the 200 MA, and then ultimately if this thing does fall, you got 1058 and then the 983 number down here and 10 bucks. This is really good support down in here, as well as the 200 MA, because it has not barely kissed it here, but that's going to be strong again with all these stocks. Right around February as the 200 MA started, hasn't touched it in months. That sometimes is a target if we go down. But overall, we got the retrace going up in here off this high. So let's see if we continue up or down. Again, 50-50 earnings shot. Remember, no more than 10% position of your total portfolio. If you have a $100,000 portfolio, you don't want to be in more than 10 grand, and only in shares. If you're in an option in this thing, no more than $1,000 to $3,000, guys. 1 to 3% on a $100,000 account. You go 10%, you lose 10 grand, you lose 10,000 or 10% of your portfolio. And you do 10 trades, you lose every one, you're done. You're out. So remember, money management is super critical to what we do here at StockBookie.com. All right, guys, so we had the big red bar. We did close above it last week, and we did do it again this week, but we did not get above these high pivots up here. So if we would have closed above the 1464 on a weekly close, then we'd be out of this big red bar. That is a bearish pattern. I mean, it's slowly trying to grind up, and then we have this one too, down and sideways in this bearish pattern. Earnings on Tuesday doesn't really mean anything at this point. Earnings, guys, we could fly, we can drop, and we're going to find out. Again, if we go up, we'll go short. If it goes down, we'll look for areas to go long. I don't care, long or short, guys, just want to be on the right side of the trade and make some money on AMD. Again, watch out for this one. Right now, nothing to do, waiting for earnings. Tesla. Tesla earnings on 8/2, so we got a little bit of time on this one. Well, a week and whatever, a week and a half. Right now, I'll go to the daily chart. Daily chart, downside. If it wasn't for earnings, guys, this is a great bearish pattern setting up for lower prices. At any moment, Elon can tweet or show some movies or pump this one up. Don't short my stock. But below the MAs, bearish pattern down sideways. What can I say, guys? Going into earnings, it could still be a 50-50 shot. But if it does pop, probably looking at highs up in here, maybe 400. A lot of people are looking at 400. If this thing does drop, you're easily looking at the 200 MA eventually. If it doesn't do it in one day, it will slowly slide, but usually this will be the target, especially all these equities, guys. It has not touched the 200 MA in months. A lot of times if these start to slip, that will be the target. You have a couple gaps to fill. You got the low pivots here, gap window. So good resistance going up with gap fill, gap window, pivots here, overhead resistance, all-time high. Good support coming down with some gaps, gap windows, 200 MA and stuff like that. But down, sideways, bearish pattern. Below the MAs, still above the 200, so slightly bullish. But with this curling down in the price, I would say lower. But again, going into earnings, this thing can rip, this thing can drop. So watch for that. 50-50 shot, guys, like the casino. And weekly chart close, still holding the 20 MA, still below the trend line. If this thing could get above the trend line and close on a weekly basis, that could possibly move to higher prices. Again, earnings coming up. We're going to see what this thing does. Long or short, I could really care less. I am short Tesla. I'm hoping lower prices where I could cover, flip this thing and go long, because eventually it'll be a buy the dip mentality, and I'll ride this one, up for whatever percentage wise. Guys, I'm a short-term trader. Even if I bought here, it went up 30-40 bucks, I'm out. I'm not riding it to 400. I just don't do that. So a lot of people ask me, well, you could have went long these markets and you would have made a ton of money. But even if I go long, guys, and a stock moves 30%, I'm going to catch 5 to 10% of that one, and I'm done. I'm not going to sit there and ride it. Yeah, it's an easy trade after the fact. Just like this. Go, if you would have shorted this one from 387, you could have had it here. Yeah, but yeah, it's easy to see. And you could have bought down here and made 35 bucks that way. So, I'll take the 5% that way. I'll take the 5% that way. If it drops, I'll make my 5% that way. I'll go long and make another 5%. I don't care, guys. I'm a swing trader, an intraday scalper, and a short-term trader, meaning I get in a trade for maybe a day. I might be in a trade for maybe 2-3 weeks. And then the swing trades could go, swing trades as well. A day, they could go 3 months. You know what? We're looking for short-term gains and just continue trading, guys. A couple hundred trades on the year. If you have 50, 75 losers and 200 winners, you're doing okay. That's how we work here at StockBookie.com. All right, guys, that's it for the weekend update on the NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. Hopefully I'm helping some people out there. Big earnings coming up, guys, so keep an eye on stocks if you're in them. No more than 10% of your total portfolio. And don't get wiped out on one trade, guys. That's not how we do it here. All right, if you like the videos, again, go to my website, sign up. It's free. Click down here to subscribe. And again, thanks everybody for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. God bless. See you on the charts.